breathe our own ways as our bodies slowly deteriorate. Black single parenting only seeming to escalate. Gang bang bodies only seeming to accumulate. Bill Gates buying all of the farmland. Tamper with the food, we belong in the promised land. Middle East by Dead Sea Beach. We in America, hate signing the lease cause the rent outrageous. Only Father can save this, I got it from the Bible, I say in the pages. Malachi remain dangerous, lyrical assassin, king teaching the captives. Lord walks through the valley of death, I fear no evil. Most High, please order my steps to gather your people. Still standing on the project steps, my eyes see the evil. Lord walk through the valley of death, I fear no evil. Most High, please order my steps to gather your people. Still standing on the project steps, my eyes see the evil.
Queen, you may have never heard it this way before. I'm just asking that you act like you never heard nothing before and open up your mind to me and journey with me. Go into my innermost, deepest feelings.
I need you to feel it.
I need you to feel it.
Need you to feel my spirit.
Need you to feel my spirit.
I can't hide my feelings.
I can't hide my feelings.
Need you to feel my spirit.
Need you to feel my spirit.
Yeah.
Wanna study my scripture with you. Think of you when I enter the booth. Yahweh, he gave me the juice. My mind ain't like regular dudes. You know I'm equipped with the jewelry. I'm not talking about diamonds, but mentally. I'll open your mind and do surgery. Open your Bible, you heard me. Just read my name and study.
Giving all glory and all praise to the Most High Yah. Welcome to Seter Elion podcast. And today we have Duty of Man, Marriage and Relationships, hosted by Morey Yemuel, Ben Yisrael, the House of Israel, 1664 California Avenue. And it's an honor to be here with you again today. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. I think today is probably what, episode 20? Somewhere around there?
Yes, sir. Episode 20.
Episode 20. So we're going to kick the ball around today and see where it lands. And let me say this in advance. I have to get this precursor every single time. When I talk about men, I'm not talking about all men in this country. I would say the vast majority. When I'm talking about women,
Yeah.
I'm only talking about women in this country. I'm not talking about all, but I will say the vast majority. But I am relegating this conversation to our black men and women because I'm more concerned with Israel in this particular case. Not that I have anything against any other nationality of people, because that's not the case. But I'm just more concerned with what's going on in our communities, with our relationship, because I really wholeheartedly believe that we could be better. But I want to start out by asking a question, just topic of conversation to see what kind of conclusion we might be able to come up with. And that question is, I've noticed that in this country, all over the internet. And when I say that, I'm consistent. So I look here, I look there, I look in a lot of different places just to find consistency. And that's what I can talk on those things that are consistent. I know some people have a problem with me doing that, but that's not my problem. That's their problem. Because if you don't know anything about a particular topic, you can't add to the conversation. And I always want to be able to know a little something, at least about the particular subjects that I talk about.
Absolutely.
But in this country, I've heard a lot of women all over the internet, and some even in person, claim to be the prize. They say in a relationship, they are the prize, and they've been taught that they are the prize. So I had to start internalizing that and start thinking, well, where did they get that from? And do they even know what a prize is if they're the prize? And so I looked up a definition. Let me read it a little bit here because I wrote some of it down. It says a prize is something that's given to someone who succeeds in a competition or a game, or something that's given as a reward. That prize is something valuable. So if a woman is going into a relationship, or not even in a relationship, but she's already deemed herself to be the prize, then who determines the value of that prize? Is it the prize itself determining its own value? Because we have to keep it in the category of being a prize.
Great
Or that the owner of said prize, or the one who possesses that said prize, that determine how valuable that prize is to him.
Great point. Great point.
Her. So I want us to talk about that for a little while, because I like I say, I like to write some things down so that I don't forget, because I be having a lot on my mind, and to be quite honest, I'm dealing with some little cognitive issues at this point, but not dementia or anything, but I don't want to forget certain things, so I write them down. But I wrote this: why is it that so many women in this country have been taught that they're the prize? A lot of women are not willing to do the things that a man would want, such as being cooperative, cooking, cleaning, not being selfish, not being masculine, not always wanting to argue. And not only will they argue, they'll brag to their female counterparts about that negative behavior that they explain to a man, but yet they say they're a prize. So I want to talk about that for a little while and get your perspective, since like I say, I gave that definition. Let me give it again. It's something that's given to someone who succeeds. That's just like if you did this and you did that and they got this prize and you're the winner of that prize. That means you deserved it because you did something. Or if that prize was given to you as a reward. Say you did something really good. And so say the person will appreciate you doing so well, they gave you a prize. Whether it might have been a new car, or they paid your rent for the month, or maybe even gave you your own place or whatever. So you would determine how valuable that prize is to you. Okay. So let's kick it a little bit to see how a woman determines she the prize. Give me some insight on that, if you will.
Yeah, hallelujah. So anybody coming to the relationship saying they the prize is automatically pedestalizing themselves and making themselves superior to the next person, because whether it's the man or the way, I'm the prize here, it's me. I'm the one that should be looked at as the one that's valuable here. I'm the, you know what I mean? I'm this, I'm that, though. So it's an egotistical thing, and it's deceitful. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody should be coming into this relationship knowing they roles. Nobody should be saying, I'm the prize. You separating yourself, not only you separating yourself from accountability, you separating yourself from actually being responsible for the role you have to play in this relationship, because you believe that you should be entitled to certain benefits, or be looked at a certain way and not held accountable because you're this so-called prize, right? Everything revolves around you. So anybody coming into a relationship with that mind state is already getting off on the wrong foot. That's a very arrogant thing for a person to say.
So that being said, then, if a woman, and if there are any women who chime in, I please give me some feedback, because I'm an older man and I'm always going to keep it honest. I promise you. And I'm going to tell you from a man's perspective. and I'm gonna give you my perspective as well. But I want some intelligent women that may be on this podcast to give me some feedback and then ask some questions. Now, again, talking about this prize, I have to be honest and ask this question here, because unless a man is pee-whipped, if y'all know what I mean, then I could see him being like not as wise, because there are some men who find it very difficult to get a woman. All men aren't blessed to be able to even have the conversation of a woman, let alone a good woman. So if a woman is saying that she is in fact the prize, then what is the prize bringing to the table? Because a prize is a reward. That means the reward is given to someone. So she's supposed to be given to someone because of his success. In this case, when we're talking about a man and a woman's relationship. Right. So she should be donating herself as a prize maybe to the man, because she's going to show her best behavior. She's going to fall in, let me put it that way, because some people ain't going to like it when I put it that way. She's going to fall in line with what this man wants, right? So she's going to appreciate this man and be glad that she has a man who's going to be a covering for her. Now, in that covering, he's going to give her some guidance, because if we're going to be honest, a lot of women, and occasionally some men, they need some good guidance. They need to be directed, because a lot of times women live in their emotions. So they're going to need somebody who has a logical foundation to them to help guide them in the right direction. A man in his covering, he's going to give that woman some stability. You see what I'm saying? He's going to make sure, and I'm only talking about a traditional man. So we're going to make that straight off the top. He's going to make sure that she's well taken care of according to his capabilities, because all men aren't financially the same. So whatever a man's resources that he have, if he's a good man and he has a woman, he's not going to withhold those resources from taking care of his business. He's not going to be selfish. Selfish men are not really going to, a selfish man should not be looking for a wife, nor a selfish woman should not be trying to pursue a husband. So my thing again is, if there's a woman out there who agrees with that statement, that the woman is the prize. See, I can put it this way here. I could say a good man who's willing to take on a relationship and be responsible for that woman and or those children that may even come with that woman. Ladies, I would say that he's the prize for you. He's the prize, because he's somebody who took interest in you and was willing to uplift you and put you in a better position to make your life easier. So I'm saying you won because he cared for you. And see, when someone cares for you, you shouldn't be deceptive. You should earn that. In other words, by treating that individual with the utmost respect and appreciation and admiration for uplifting you. See, we're supposed to work hand in hand. It can never be one-sided. If it's one-sided, that means one person's always giving and the other's always taking. It's supposed to be reciprocal, right? Give me some points of view on that you.
No, those are great points you brought out. Let's say a woman says she's the prize. Well, then we the masters. We the masters of the situation. So you can be whatever you want to be, but you can't be the master. You can't be the ruler, the governor. You can't be the king. So she can be whatever she want to be. You know what I'm saying? But we the masters, and we should be given that respect. Most relationships today don't, as we always talk about, they don't initially start off with respect. A lot of things are emotional. You know, men often allow women to lead them on an emotional roller coaster. And we do that because it's not good for men to be alone. But with that, with feelings of loneliness, that's also an emotion too, because in reality, we never alone. The Almighty is always with us everywhere we go. So with that being said, it's not good for men to be alone. But however, man is the planet keeper. We the keepers of the earth. It's a man's world, and it's the Almighty's world, but the Almighty left men in charge. So when the woman said, as I say, when the woman says she's the prize, you are somebody. You know what I mean? If you are that righteous wife, the scriptures say a virtuous woman is a crown to her husband. A virtuous woman who can find her price is far above rubies. Mm-hmm. So that woman is indeed an asset to you off rip. But the scripture also says, who can find her? Who can find her?
That's like trying to find a needle in a haystack. Many have done virtuously, but that virtuous woman excels them all.
That's deep. Ooh.
That means that virtuous woman, she gonna be on point, and if she find herself drifting off point, she's gonna redirect herself to be back on point. Because she know, that virtuous woman know, even if she married a fool, that don't mean she got to give tit for tat. She's still going to hold her own because she know in that day that's coming, she's going to rejoice. That's a promise to her.
Wow.
She's going to get her reward.
Yeah, as long as she do what's right.
There you go. So
and it said that she would never do him evil. She would never do him evil. She would do him good all the days. That mean even when he tripping, she still's gonna have the best interest. Just like with Nabal and Abigail, the Almighty seen Abigail and how she was a great woman, and the Almighty actually delivered her from the man she was with, because the man she was with was a fool, but she still played her role and was good to him all the days of his life. All the days of his life got cut short, but the Almighty delivered her from that situation. So whoever is in the situation, we all should be striving for righteousness. Unfortunately, in a lot of relationships, it's usually one person is riding on the other person's goodness. One person is riding on the other person's righteousness, and that's what leads to unhappiness in relationships. We all got to be putting forth an effort to be great. We all got to be putting forth an effort to do our role and understand what our role is, and understand that role is not only given by Yah, but is facilitated by that husbandman. So some women out there are prizes, but those women are very rare, very rare. So most women that's talking like that, we already know off rip. Nah, she ain't the one, because a virtuous woman ain't even gonna behave herself like that. You know what I'm saying? The virtuous woman, she knows she got it. She ain't got to be flamboyant about it. She knows she got it.
So keep in mind, and here's my question. If all of these modern women are the prize, then who's collecting the prize?
Good point. And that's why I
who's
said
collecting the prize? In other words,
say y'all the prize, who's collecting the prizes?
In other words, where's her husband?
There you go.
Where's her? If all these modern women are in fact the prize, where are their husbands?
Dang. And then on top of that, a prize it's either that's deep. That's deep. Reward. That's really deep, that women be saying that they the prize, because a prize, as you said, a price have to be set for that prize. You know what I'm saying? Somebody got to do something in order to get that prize, right? So when they receive that prize, what's the value of that prize? Who sets the value of that prize? Another man. So either way they go, whether you want to go, the fatherly route or the husband route, either way it go, y'all gonna be in the hands of somebody else. That's deep.
Which means it's not the prize itself who determines its worth.
There you go.
It's not the prize itself who determines its worth.
One of the others.
It's the person who possesses that so-called prize who determines what that prize is worth. Because some people might have something, they say it's worthless, so they throw it in a box, put it away. Then some people might have something and they want to put it up on a shelf and let it shine. You see what I'm saying? Some people might have a prize and they can't quit talking about it in good ways, and want to keep fixing up, putting it in a frame, showing it off, putting little drapings of tapestry over it or something, because it's worthy to have those attributes or accolades done to it or said about it or whatever the situation is.
Totally agree.
But a woman that boasts in herself is a very foolish woman, especially if she's not productive or producing. If she's dependent on someone else, like when these women talking about a good man, I'm going to let you listen to something later on. I'll listen to this bitter woman talking about how bad men are, and men just don't want to deal with certain women because they can't afford those women, because they can't afford to get their hair done and their nails done and all of this type of stuff, and they can't afford to take them out to these lavish places and all this. Well, that's not a man's responsibility to go wine and dine somebody that's not his wife, just to find out if he likes her and get her hair done and her nails done. Those are personal things. Matter of fact, I believe that most men would prefer a woman to be natural with her own nails, with her own hair. So if a woman wants to do those particular things for herself for whatever her reasons are, let her enjoy doing that. That is not a man's responsibility. If he wanted a woman and he wanted to build that woman up with hair and nails and makeup, he can go buy a mannequin. And he can put all that hair and the nails and the clothes all over that mannequin. He can sit that mannequin down. He tell that mannequin to be quiet. That mannequin ain't going to say a word, nor be argumentative. You see what I'm saying? If he just want a pretty face, put some good makeup on that mannequin. That's it. So, it really disturbed me, because the more I hear it all the time. That's just like you get women and ladies. Again, I am not talking about all of you. I'm just talking about the vast majority in this country. There's always an exception to the rule, and praise the Most High Yah for those exceptions. I am not forgetting that there are beautiful exceptions, and those that are the exceptions, I wish only the best for you, and I pray that the Most High Yah bless you with a very good man who's going to give you the best possible covering that he can. Hallelujah.
Yes, indeed. Praise him.
So now let's kick this a little bit more here, because I already asked that question. If all these women, these ratchet women and all other kinds of women, if they're the prize, then where's their husband? Where is the collector of said prize? Or is that prize unspoken for? Because it seemed to me, if somebody gonna say they're a prize, at least they should belong to somebody. Not somebody's toy, not somebody's situationship buddy. None of that. They should be a wife. What they like to say, somebody put a ring on it. And that's not the case. It's just not the case. And so let's move on here. You got any last things you want to say on that before we move on? Because I did state that a lot. I got to read this part one more time, because I don't want to leave nothing out. A lot of women are like this, and this is a lot of men's complaints. I don't care if you get on the internet and you just check a bunch of different places, and you can read the comments. You might have something might have 500 comments. You might have something that's got some thousands of comments and whatnot. I've commented on some of the sites my daggone self, you see. But all of the men, for the most part, I can't say it enough, they're dealing with the same issues. So if they're all dealing with the same issues, and a lot of these guys, most of them don't even know each other. And this is all throughout the country. But when this information is shared, women will say that that's not the case. Now, are these women who are just like the women that these men are dealing with who say that? Because if it's not pertaining to a woman, if she's not like that, then that woman shouldn't have anything to say, because it's not talking about her. She shouldn't have a word to say. She just processed that information and let it go. But when somebody got to get in, and then when they give their 2 cents or whatever amount that they want to give, when they come out with that bunch of negativity, that tells you something about their character. They don't really understand that. But the person that's listening always understand. The person that's listening can feel the energy in which the words were actually spoken. And if it's negative energy, it's negative energy. That's going to dictate that that person has a negative spirit, at least at that particular time, talking about that particular subject.
So, I think you hit all the points. I think that was some great great way to dispel that that logic that's out there. But yeah, I think we pretty much wrapped that up.
Next question here. Should a man and a woman try to maintain good health and appearance in a relationship? In other words, if you meet a woman and say y'all been dating for a while and you looking at her for marriage, she know you looking at her for marriage, but say either the man or the woman is not necessarily taking care of themselves in the best possible way. They're eating up everything that they want to eat, but not exercising. They're letting their appearance go because they feel like, I don't know, maybe they don't have to keep it up anymore because they see that the opposite is actually attracted to them, but then they don't realize that that person is kind of backing off a little bit because that individual, whether it be the man or the woman, see that that other person isn't necessarily taking care of themselves anymore. And men we're physical. We like to have something. We want a good inside, but ain't nothing wrong with having a good outward appearance. If I borrowed a sweater from you and it was your favorite sweater, and then you said, hey, look, I'm going to be out of town for a little while, man. Look, you take care of my sweater. Say you out of town for, I don't know, you say you was going to be gone for a month, but you be gone 5-6 months. 5 or 6 months, I done gained a bunch of daggone weight because I'm just eating and snacking and just eating whatever. And I'm wearing that sweater because I'm really feeling it. But I just start stretching this sweater out to the point to where it ain't even maintaining shape anymore, right? And so when you get back, since that was your favorite sweater, you know, when we see one another, you go, hey, man, I'm ready for my sweater back, man. You know, the winter season coming over, whatever, you know, I'm looking forward to. That's my favorite sweater. And then I give you that sweater. Matter of fact, you get back and you see me in the sweater. And it's all out of shape. I'm all up out of shape. And you look at that sweater and you look at me with disgust because not only did I let myself go, I let your sweater go too. So now let's say that this sweater is the other individual. Yeah. Whether it's the male or the female, how do you feel about that in a relationship, knowing that you want something nice to look on, you want a good spirit, you want a good person, but we want to, within reason, we want to maintain ourselves. I understand that we're not in a position to where we can do something and then all of a sudden our health just go bad and we're bedridden or something like that. But when we have the ability to take care of ourselves, to appreciate the bodies that the Almighty loaned us, I personally feel like we should take care of them because not only that, we want to keep our mate engaged. We want our mate to feel good about us. And I think that should go both ways. But I think sometimes people tend to get lazy in the efforts that they put in because if they're with somebody for a certain amount of time, they feel like, hey, I just throw these sweatpants on and this and throw my hair back or whatever the situation is, whether it's the male or the female. Give me some feedback on it.
Yeah, usually when somebody let that go, that mean they ain't got the right people around them. If you got the right people around you and they love you, they won't let you let yourself go. Like, hey, looking like you picking up some weight. I remember I was gaining some weight during the summer. I done got like 4 or 5 people like, man, you gaining some weight there. I'm like, oh, I'm just getting fat. Like, so if you gotta sometimes change your circle, if you surround yourself around the right people, they gonna make sure you straight. Like, hey, you know what I mean? You guys hit the weights, man. You looking a little skinny, man. The arms getting a little small, man. What's going on? Like, you know, so having the right people around you is crucial. But as far as its importance in relation, it's highly important. Attraction is very, very important. And I know we talk about more of the spiritual, internal things that attracts us to women. But let's be honest, you know, we live in a physical world. You know, we're not spiritual beings, just spiritual beings. We're physical beings. So we have to make sure that, you know, we at optimum health, putting the right things in our body, not overeating, you know what I'm saying, fasting occasionally, even trying out new foods, perhaps going on a vegan challenge, vegetarian challenge, something like that. Yeah, challenge yourself. And I think it's important for mates, if you are together and your loved one start letting themselves go to the gym with them. Hey, go hit the gym together, or go to the spa together, or go shopping together. Get some new clothes, encourage one another to do those things. If you have somebody that is kind of slipping off, I had told one in my previous relationship, I was like, man, yeah, be hard on me. Hey, if you see me gaining weight, or you see me hey, baby's trying to hit some push-ups, like, let me know, like, and I'm there, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's highly important, not just for the woman, but for the man too. You know what I'm saying? For both. So yeah.
So let me ask, first of all, that looked like my son on that screen there. I only know one Yah's child, and
That's right.
my son's name is Yah's child. If that's you, son,
What's up,
give me some feedback. I love you. I love you. Hey, speaking of getting this stuff together, if
up,
that
man?
is in fact my son, he didn't turn into a beast. I'm telling you,
Oh,
he
for
didn't.
That's son. I know you.
And my son called me big dude, but when I saw him and I had seen him in the wild, I'm like, oh shit.
Y'all got swole.
Oh man, yeah, he done got swollen. He done got swollen.
That's what's up.
But let me ask you, how would a man? You're a younger man. I see an older man is going to come with a more subtle approach. At least from my standpoint, I would come with a much subtle approach. And I know sometimes when you're dealing with older women, sometimes you just have to not say anything. But how would you say something to a woman your age about keeping herself up without offending her? Because in the day's time with these modern women, they tend to get offended just when you tell them the truth. And that's a daggone shame, but that's in fact the way it is. If you want to have an argument, and guys, if you're out there, y'all, if that's you, son, tell me something. If you tell a woman the truth, in most cases, it's going to lead to an argument or disagreement. So give me some feedback on that. Well, how would you kind of get a woman in your generation, your age range or whatnot? How would you communicate with her? I would like to think that it would be easier because you guys are younger, but the older a person they get more set in their ways. And you know what I mean? Hit your mic there.
Yeah, you got to be smooth nowadays. I don't even know how I was, in prior days, but because I wasn't alive, not been alive that long. But I'm just saying, however you say it to them, you want to say it in a way that's, you want to consider the person's feelings.
Absolutely.
You don't want to make a person, not to say it's bad, the body shame, you know what I'm saying, but you want to make sure you can communicate with this person about hard things per se. Now, a lot of times, if you get women give men a lot of flack when they feel like they're not leading properly. That's usually what happens. That's with good women sometimes. So if you a person that's just like, oh man, you need to work out, like you know what I mean, you harsh to her, she might say, hey, you ain't been doing nothing either. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Not to cut you off. I'm only talking about in the best possible way as trying not to offend them. And the reason I'm asking a younger person is because a lot of times in today's time, if you say something to a woman in regards to something like that, they tend to get offended. Because first of all, they already know that they're out of shape. But if you bring it to their attention because you like the way they were, you see what I'm saying? And you know they can do, but because everybody has what they like and what they don't like, men and women. You see what I'm saying? Like these women that say they want a man 6 foot tall, 6-pack, making 6 figures and all this old type of stuff.
That's what you don't want. You don't want to make them feel like it's something they can't change. Exactly. Let them know it's something you can change.
They know that. So something simple. In other words, I'm saying subtly, how can a man say something, a younger person, how can a younger person say something? Or how would you suggest a person say something to someone in the best possible way they can without, they're not trying to hurt their feelings, but trying to let them know, hey, I miss the old you, so to speak.
Yeah, you got to joke around with them. Like, treat them like a friend, like you would a friend. That's how I would come at them. You know what I'm saying? If it's somebody I love, obviously we have a connection, so you establish that friendship before you get in that relationship. So whenever I try to talk about things that's hard, I'm gonna come at them like I would a friend. Like one of my homies, like, hey, you should hit the gym. Trying to hit the gym. Like, I would say it in a way like, hey, I'll do it with you. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't just be like, hey, you need to do this. You know what I'm saying? I would say it in a way that's respectful.
Yeah,
That's what a young woman too. It's the same thing. You know what I mean?
And I think that's what I would expect. But the reason I asked you that question because today's time is so different, man. And I'm saying it's worse.
Okay.
It's worse. A matter of fact, even in gyms across the United States,
Right.
Men are stopping to help women, those that do come to the gym, because a lot of times they're setting up cameras in there. What they're doing, they're setting up what you call thirst traps. They're trying to catch a man they'll come in with little skimpy stuff on, right? And then they'll set up the cameras in a way so if they see a man looking at them, then they'll try to call the man out, or like making videos trying to discredit men, talking about he's a creep because he's looking at, but she's coming there with shorts all up her butt and all this other type. And men are going to look. But here's the thing. Because they've been doing that and it's been causing problems in unisex gyms, now men are not, they're not helping women at all. A woman can fall down with some weights. A man, he's going to stay over there. It's going to be very rare. And it's been very rare that a man will actually go over and help a woman or approach women in the gym, because women are, there's a different culture going on right now where it's about man shaming, in the gym. So men literally quit going to the gyms. And gym owners start losing money because men were leaving the gym because of what's going on with the women. So it's starting to backfire now.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, that's messed up. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, people go in the gym to train and better themselves. It's not necessarily about making it a flirt session. If I see a woman in the gym, 9.5 times out of 10, I'm not even gonna flirt. I don't care how good she look, because I know she probably coming in there to work out. Hopefully that's her intention. But I know if I'm in the gym, I ain't trying to get distracted at all. I don't even like conversating with a lot of people when I'm in the gym. Even though it happens, you might see your homies in there or some people you see on a regular. But for the most part, when I hit the gym, I'm focused. So creating an environment like that, like that's petty. That's real petty.
Let's switch topics for a second here, because I got something else that I'm thinking about. Now there's a thing going on also to where you have women that have either a child or children that's shaming men because some men don't necessarily want to deal with a single mother who have a child or children. And it appears that in a lot of cases, even though the child already has a father, in so many cases that a woman not only wants you to provide for her just in dating, but she wants that man that's dating her to provide for her child. Now, that child, again, already has a father. And I'm not saying all women, I'm saying a lot. In this particular case, they feel like a man should want to help take care of that child if he wants to be involved with her. And then if he don't want to deal with her because he's not trying to necessarily take care of somebody else's child who's not his own, then he's being shamed and talked about. But now, if it was flipped, I don't think a man who has a single father, he's not going to start dating a woman and think that she's supposed to come in, help and take care of his child. So there's a double standard. Give me some feedback on that.
Yeah. It's a lot of scenarios actually like that, where if you would flip, just like the whole polygamy thing. If women can have if Yahweh allow women to have more than one man, they'd be making songs about it right now. They'd be on the radio. Got my man over here, got my man over there. You know what I mean? It'd be, come on. So, men out there, man, know what you want and don't waver. If that's what you want, you a single man, you ain't got no kids, and you don't want a woman without kids, stick to it. It's plenty of women, it's plenty of fish in the sea. A woman shouldn't, shame a man for wanting what he want. I don't get mad at a woman if she don't want me. cool, peace. Somebody gonna want me.
There
You
you
know what I'm
go.
saying? Somebody gonna want me, and
you go.
there's always somebody, like the saying go. If one person will not do something for you, it's another person out there that will. You know, so
I'm gonna make a statement that I know some people will be offended by it, but those wise people know that this is a true statement. As men and women age, there's a difference. As a man gets older, he becomes more refined. And if he's a man who already has resources and whatnot, his options are going to stay there. You see what I'm saying? As a woman gets older,
her options kind of
her options decline with age because, first of all, again, men are physical, so that attraction, that first attraction, is that woman's so-called beauty. If it's not that outward appearance, then she has to be exceptionally kind. And you don't find a lot of that today here in this country, especially with people who look like you and me. Speaking of the opposite sex, you see what I'm saying? So, like I say, a man, for the most part, and some people might disagree, and they can do that if they want to, but I guarantee you, women will agree that as a man gets older, you know, especially if he's a good man, he becomes more refined, and he's still going to have plenty of options, especially if he has resources. Do you see what I'm saying? If his only resource is just a house and his Social Security, you see what I'm saying? He's still going to have some options there. But we know that's not necessarily the same for women. I don't necessarily want to get into that, but let's get into that. Because the bottom line is even older women realize, because they might talk about old Charles up the street. They want to go up there. Why Charles got all these women over there? Why Charles doing that? Why Charles doing that? You see? But she ain't got nobody. That's why she got time to talk about what Charles doing.
It's even more funny because my granddad named Charles. Nah, that's true. That's why it's very, very important for us to keep in mind that our time is not forever. Get married while you can. Find the right man while you can, because it ain't. The older you get, the harder it is, especially for women. You know, so yeah.
Some women don't tend to believe that as they get older. You know, I'm gonna make this statement, and somebody's not gonna like it, but it's a true statement.
I know there's a lot of women out there right now that did not like what you said. You good?
They're not gonna like it at all. But the truth is always gonna be the truth.
Ladies, he ain't lying to you though.
You got your mic on there?
No, I'm letting you go.
Yeah, the fact of the matter is that's a true scenario, and like I say, if a woman is really honest about it, she'll tell you the truth. Men will always tell you the truth. You know, sometimes people get bitter because, see, we have to realize as we get older, things do change. Men's plumbing change, women's plumbing change, a lot of different things change. But if a person has a good spirit, if they're kind and that stays the same, it's not going to be very difficult to at least get a companion, somebody that would love to spend some time with you. But when a person get old and they just get ornery and get set in their ways and they think they know everything, don't nobody want to be around that. Don't nobody want to be around. That's the best way to chase somebody off. You know?
Age like wine. Get better. Don't get older. Get better.
Now, let me ask you a question. Think about this right here. And this is a question for the ages. This is a question for the younger people. Not even necessarily more so with the younger people. Is it an advantage? And I'll have to ask you this as a male. Is it an advantage or a disadvantage for a man to get involved with a woman that has a young child? In other words, say if you got the option over here, you got this one. Say both women are 20 24, 25 years old. Say one of these women, say you like them both. You like them both. And one of these women have, say, like 3 small children. The other one don't have any children at all. But both of them are just as sweet as apple pie. They just sweet. Matter of fact, to make this question easier, say you got a son. And this is your son's scenario, right? I'm going to take you out of the equation here. Say, I'm going to ask you, hold on, I'm going to ask you the advice that you would give your son. Your son, he really liked this one, but he really liked that one too. This one over here got 3 children and 3 different baby fathers. This one over here don't have no children. They both sweet as heck. But by you being an older person, you know one of these women is going to come with drama because she got 3 different baby fathers, where the other one don't even have no babies at all. And this one over here, you know, she ain't trying, he don't know if she's just a breeder, and I hate to put it that way, or whatnot, because he could be the 4th baby father in that relationship don't work. Do you see what I'm saying? So and I'm just keeping it real. And so we have to be honest here. Some women are going to be known just to be breeders. In other words, she's going to have a different dude's babies, but these guys are not trying to marry her. And ladies, I promise you, I'm not trying to be harsh. Matter of fact, I'm trying to put some wisdom out so you can watch out for those particular type of guys. Because like I say, I talk about the men and I talk about the women. And you got some guys out there who ain't quite right either. And they going to get their time. They definitely going to get their time. But what advice would you give your son if you know your son, he's in the way of getting ready to make a bunch of money if he ain't already making good money. You know, he's getting his house together. He's buying his house. He's getting his resources together. And we know that in a lot of cases, 70 to 90% of women file for a divorce. And they might not have been on the court shooting no balls with the guy. You see what I'm saying? But they want that half of what he got should it go south, if it don't go right. Now, we hope that don't happen. But if you want to give your son some advice because he's torn, he come to you and he say, Pops, man, what do you think? I really like both of them and I need to make up my mind. What advice are you going to give him? Without offending the woman with the 3 different babies by 3 different fathers, or just without offending any woman who has children.
Well, this son is definitely gonna be one of my older sons that probably ain't listened to me in the first place because he wouldn't put himself in this position like that to begin with. So probably my older son, I'll say, son, you really gotta consider what I'm saying, and I want you to make the right decision, not think with your heart. You know what I mean? Think long term. Because if this woman has 3 children, 3 different baby daddies, 1 baby daddy.
3 different baby daddies?
Oh yeah.
And see, let me give you, let me say this because I want you to keep talking. Tell your mic for a second.
She's a sweetheart, though. She's a sweetheart.
She's a sweetheart, so we think. Well, see, here's the thing. They got 3 different baby daddies. Remember, I tell you, there's a thing going around now. Women teaching women how to capitalize off of profiting from babies. Because if she have 3 babies by the same guy, she's restricting how much money she can actually get from child support. But if she have different fathers for each child, then she could get the max for child support from each father. So there's a lot of females right now, ladies, and if it ain't you, don't get upset because you know the truth. There's a lot of females out there right now who are using babies as an income. And that's sad, but that's true. And see, when a person gets wiser, they learn about the things that's going on because they don't want to fall into those different traps. You see, Solomon said there's one thing that he saw that was worse than death. Do you remember what that was?
A woman whose heart is
nets and snares. You see what I'm saying? So if somebody's setting a trap, but you don't realize they're setting the trap because they know you got some paper. You see what I'm saying? And they need their life finance. Now, ladies, I'm not talking about all women here again, but I'm sure that some of you ladies know somebody that's like that. And it's just right is right and wrong is wrong. And we just don't want fellas to fall into the wrong clutches of somebody.
I mean, I'll just keep it real, man. You know, I would advise him not to mess with her. That's too much baggage. You know, you need a woman that's gonna focus on you and what you got going on. She got to tend to you, and she got to tend to 3 other kids, 3 different.
Say that again, because I don't think women really understand what you just said. And when it comes to even dealing with the relationship, the focus is where?
The focus is on the man, because your job is to be a helpmeet to him.
And his focus
And it's not to
his children, and T.I.'s children, but he's gonna be doing the same thing. So he should be focused on that, and that should be focusing on that, right?
Absolutely, yeah, and that's why the Almighty gave us a commandment. Howbeit, we got certain circumstances where men may not be manning up like they should, and are not in a position necessarily to be a father like they should in their kids' life. So a lot of times, kids got to go with their mothers. You got different scenarios that can play out with that, but you know, you want to make the best option for you, because and it's not to crush the woman. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because listen, the Almighty open doors for people. It's not all these things are determined by the Most High, man. That's what people got to understand. So when we speak in this truth, realize that this truth is coming from the Most High. The Almighty will open up another door for you. You know what I mean? You got, and the woman shouldn't be mad if a man does pick the other woman. The woman shouldn't get mad with the baby dad. You know what I mean? With the children. Shouldn't get mad. You should understand, okay, this man, I do got kids. You know what I'm saying? At that point, a lot of times, you're going to need a strong man to be able, if you're putting a man in a position like that where you got 3 kids, they all living with you, you're going to need a certain type of man. And on top of that, you're going to have to do way better, way more than just the standard of what a wife would do with no kids. You're going to have to go the extra mile, because now we got extra weight. So, you know, we have to be fair about this thing. This man has no kids. You come, you know what I mean? Like, is that really fair? If we being honest, ladies out there, men out there, is that really fair to the man? Or should we be expected to hold the burden just because we men, right?
I think it's the latter that you just said. I believe that a lot of women believe that if you are a real man, as they like to say, that you're supposed to be able to deal with that. You're supposed to have it if you're a man. But see, here's the thing. They don't want to acknowledge that they did something that was foolish. They the ones who made that mistake. So a man shouldn't have to pay for their mistake. See, if you lay down with somebody and you lay, there's the old expression say, you lay down with a dog, you catch fleas. So if you lay down with somebody and you lay down with them and you shouldn't have been laying down with them and you got pregnant, it's not the next man's responsibility to take care of the mistakes that you made. It's not fair to that man to put extra pressure on him even coming into a relationship. He's not going to get the benefit of raising that child with the discipline that he would want to use, especially if the other baby's father is still in the picture or around, period. You see, so it's not beneficial to that man. Now, bless all those guys who've been in a situation like that. I've been in a situation like that too. But I'm going to tell you, it's not always the best type of situation to be in.
Yeah.
You see.
And a lot of men, it's just a lot of men in positions like that, in situations like that, where they are whip breeders. You know what I mean? And a lot of times a woman know who they are and what they are. You know what I mean? And they hide who they are, especially if you're a good man. And that's anybody, that's man or woman. Whoever you're dealing with, understand that a lot of people, as we always say, they have that representative. People flip. It's a reason. I don't want to offend people out there, you know what I'm saying?
We gotta tell the truth.
Yeah, but we do got to tell the truth. You just got to be careful, man. Like my son, man, my son better not. Real talk, my son better not.
You know, a woman's nature.
Would you allow your son to do that? Well, how would you count?
I would have to tell my youngest son, if my youngest son come to me, hell, if any of my sons, even I got one that's getting ready to be 40, you know, then one is 37, then another one getting ready to turn 35. But my youngest son, if he ever found himself in a situation like that and he came to me and wanted my advice, should he chose this one here with three or the other one that don't have any children, I'm definitely going to refer my son to the one that don't have any children at all, that he can start his own legacy and not have the difficulties or not have to worry about any outside drama or interference based on those children that this woman already have, because those are not his children and therefore it's not his responsibility. As those children got older there in his house, that woman might not want him to discipline the children that he's feeding and have inside that house or whatnot.
And this is where I wanted to chime in at, because now I'm getting a better understanding. See, a lot of times people get into relationships too early. They start indulging in activities too early.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's where it's up to a man. I would tell my son not to get involved with a woman with 3 baby daddies. That's Morey Yaakov. Shalom, Morey. How you doing? Going back to what I was saying, see, people come into our lives for different reasons. You know what I'm saying? The Almighty put people in our lives for different reasons. Some people come to bless you. Some people come to curse you. Some people may look like a blessing and then end up being a curse. Some people may look like a curse but end up becoming a blessing. So, you know, you really have to pray for that discernment. But a lot of times people come into our lives for a reason. And every woman that come into your life, it don't necessarily mean you have to have sex with them.
Right.
Almighty, he sustained prophets through women a lot of times, through widow women. That don't necessarily mean that they was having sex with one another. But Almighty put people in your life. So it's good to build friendships with people. But when you're talking about building a legacy, and that's what marriage really is for, is to lock in that legacy, to keep that to transfer that wealth over to your children. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of things, when we're talking about marriage and making things serious and ceremonial before the Almighty and holy and sanctified, we got to make sure it got Yah's stamp on there. You know what I'm saying? That especially if you have a high position, you know, the Almighty commanded his Levites, his priests. Y'all couldn't marry no woman that was put away from their husband. Y'all couldn't marry no woman that was not a virgin. Y'all could not do it. It's against the law. So how much more a person that's you know, that's really been walking and the Almighty got high expectations for it. That's why with my son, I have high expectations for my future son. He better not. He better not.
So,
yeah. High expectations.
and see, that's the beautiful thing when we have high expectations. So let me ask you a question, because certain things come to a boiling point in this country here. Right. And there are certain things that ought not be happening. Like I say, in some scenarios you might see, and I'm going to give you a scenario and ask you your opinion on something here. Again, instead of, say, using you, because I think when we talk about somebody that we love and we care for, we're going to want better for them than sometimes even ourselves. Oh, you see, if we make mistakes, we don't want our loved ones to make the same mistake we make. So here's a question I have. I know you've probably been out somewhere in the public eye somewhere, and you may have seen a man and a woman going at it, arguing loudly, not necessarily involved in fisticuffs or something, but seeing a man and a woman, maybe a woman going off on a man outside at a mall or on the corner or someplace that it shouldn't be that loud. It shouldn't be wanting other people to know their affairs or whatnot. But I know you've seen that someplace. Say that you, I don't know, at a Walmart or something, or your son is there. And there's an altercation where a woman is getting, and I have to put it the way it generally is. I know every now and then you might see a soft guy. He's out there. He's acting feminine. He's going off. But in most cases, it's probably going to be the opposite sex. You'll see a woman going off on a man, right? For whatever reason. So there's a situation that's going on, and the woman's getting really loud, and the man is trying to calm her down, but both of them started getting really loud. Now, it's getting to the point to where people are stopping and they're looking or whatnot. You can use yourself for this scenario or a son or something, but just give it some real thought here. Do you go over, or do you advise, or would you advise your son to go over and try to calm that situation down? Now, keep in mind, this is somebody that you don't know. You don't know this man. He looks real aggressive. She looks real aggressive. And I can tell you, I got involved in a situation one time before dealing with a was the sister of a woman that I was married to before. And I got involved in it, and I regret getting involved in it because after the situation went down, they got back together. And I got with him because he was putting boots on her, so to speak. You see what I'm saying? And that didn't turn out real well at all. So would you advise a man in today's climate when women, a lot of women, I'm not going to say all women, just don't want to be pleasant to some men anyway, and knowing that if they make up, because that might be something they doing all the time or whatnot, going at the man and the woman or something like that, the woman might even turn against you when you go over there trying to interfere on her behalf, or that man over there, he might not take it too kind, and you don't know what another man might be trying to do to somebody who's interfering between him and the woman that he's dealing with. So would you be quick to go over and try to intervene in that situation, or would you tell your son if he asked you what should he do? Would you say, yeah, go over there and see what you can do?
Now, in my younger years, I'll probably go and help, but now that I'm older and more mature, I would not. I wouldn't do.
Well,
I
no,
wouldn't.
because I agree with you.
Yeah, no, you don't do that. You know, you don't get involved in people's relationship problems. That's between them. Has nothing to do with you. And for that reason, right there, they going, especially now. My answer is this: if these are people I don't know outside of my house and my community, my family, no, I don't know y'all. All skin folk ain't kin folk. I might go over there. He might blow my brains out.
It's happened.
Yeah. I would never advise my son to, nah, man, don't get involved in other people's relationship problems. I didn't intervene in a situation like that before too, and I regret doing it.
There was a man who saw a woman. Matter of fact, this man was walking with his woman and I believe their child. And he saw a situation with a man and a woman going at it. And he went over, but that man never came back. He went over to try and get them to get that resolved. And she tried to stop him. His woman tried to not have him go over there. And he lost his life.
It's a lot of people, man. Listen, don't be out here playing hero, man. Trying to save the damsel in distress. Don't do it. You know what I mean? You got a man and a woman, that's his woman. Let him deal with it. That's his problem. That ain't your problem. I don't care. you see stuff like this in the, in you know what I mean, so to speak, for lack of better words, the hood a lot. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Mind your business, keep it pushing. Now, if it's people in our community, like our Hebrew community, and we see these things, we address these things. Yeah, like, hold on, like, because we're holding you to a standard. Like, we don't walk like that. You know what I'm saying? Even if she is initiating certain things, you as a man got to learn how to walk away from the situation. It's better to dwell in the wilderness than in the house with a brawling and contentious woman. Never let a woman bring you down to you don't fight foolishness. Nobody, woman or man, don't fight foolishness with foolishness, because it just leads to more foolishness.
And you're right. And the reason I asked that question is because there's a controversy going around with women talking about now how black men won't step up to protect them. Yeah, and in a lot of cases, the woman gets the stuff started. I'm not saying in all cases, lady, but in a lot of cases, the woman, through her emotions, she'll just get out there and start just going and think a man is supposed to come to her aid. That woman might put her hands on this other man, and then this man might retaliate. So another man's supposed to go in and jump in where this woman actually got the whole altercation started. That's foolery right there.
Oh yeah, man. There's so many people that's done lost their life behind stuff like that. And we read the situation of Moses, when you even read about Moses helping and delivering our people, you know what I mean? It's a lot different. That was a different time than what we facing today in some ways. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is, but it ain't. You know what I mean? I really admire Moses, the things that he did for our people. Like when there was two men fighting, he broke up the fight. He seen sisters watering the well, and some men was coming over to try to, you know what I mean, try to hurt them and stuff, and he protected them from that. But women have used that as an excuse to do their garbage. Because a lot of times, like, you do have men out there that are violent, that get physical and violent, right. And we condemn them type of men. Like, you know what I mean? Don't put your hands on a woman. You know what I'm saying? Try your best not to do those type of things. But, for the most part, man, it just get tricky. In my years at 27, like I said, years ago I would have did that. And I regret it just like you. And on several occasions, I done had people intervene on my situations. Like, it's just like, yeah, man, it get tricky, but put yourself first. Put yourself first. That's what I'm gonna tell people, always, like, the situations escalate. People have mental health issues. A lot of things is going on, man. A lot of things ain't worth it.
Got a question, another question. And everything I'm asking is relevant
questions too, by the way.
for the
Very good
aspect of
questions. Yeah.
praise Yah, for the aspect of trying to build a relationship in hopes that that relationship leads to marriage. Now I'm getting ready to ask a question that a lot of women would not want to answer, but I'm gonna ask you this question here. Should a man want to know about how many sexual partners that a woman has had if he's interested in dating her with the purpose of considering her for marriage? If he say like he's been checking her for maybe they've been talking a couple of weeks, but he's liking that energy, he's liking the vibe, right? Yeah. But something is just eating at him, because if he's a person of the day, he knows that, and this is not to be offensive, but I'm gonna tell the truth, all right? Say, for example, and let me just say a lot. I ain't gonna say in most cases, I'm gonna say in a lot of cases. Say the average 25-year-old woman then probably been with more men than a 52-year-old woman. You see what I'm saying? So here's my question again. Should a man want to know what her body count is if he's interested in her? Should that conversation come up? And I'm going to say this because it would definitely have to come up with me. If I was a single, I'm not a single, but if I was a person out there, I'm going to want to know these things. And the reason I have to ask this, because again, I'm getting ready to get very specific in my reasoning behind this, and I've stated this before. When you first meet somebody, 9 times out of 10 in this country, you're going to be meeting a representative. You're not going to be actually meeting who that person really is to the totality, right? Yeah. And in a lot of cases. Well, in all cases, should I say, let's keep it a buck here. When a woman lies with a man and they're being intimate, if he's depositing in her, he's depositing his DNA. We talked about this before. So now not only is this woman taking in multiple people, depending on how many people she's been with, because there was a reason in the beginning throughout scriptures that the Almighty wanted this woman to be a virgin. And this woman was created to be a man's wife. So she wasn't just out dealing with boyfriend, break, boyfriend, break, boyfriend. It wasn't meant to be like that. So again, if she's laid with multiple men, she's taking in multiple men's different DNA, which is going to alter her behavior. It's going to alter her thinking. She's going to be taking on a different type of personality. And not only that, if she's lying with a multitude of different guys, then it's going to be hard for you to measure up to all those other expectations and things that she's dealt with. So it's not going to be very beneficial to you. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. You don't know, but you will be being compared to other guys. Not only that, it's going to be extremely difficult, if at all possible, for her to pair bond with you. So that's the reason, ladies, that it's absolutely important that you hold on to your virginity as long as you can. And ideally, it should be your husband who takes that. But we know in this country, and I'm not knocking anybody. I'm a person that wants the best for us. So in order for us to understand, sometimes things have to be explained, because I like to put things in a way to where sometimes people might consider, because they never thought of it that way. I know a lot of people don't think that when they lay with somebody, they're taking on their DNA. I know a lot of times people don't even consider, am I going to be able to pair bond with somebody along the way? Especially if they've been with multiple people. Do you see what I'm saying? And so that's it's a complex conversation. And I know it's a conversation that a lot of people who've been involved in that don't want to have. But it would be also good for a man to know, because a lot of women will say that ain't none of your business because that was before you. But what if you got with somebody and you found out, and this is just not a joking type of situation. What if you found out she'd been with, say, like 150 guys or something like that? Because I've heard bigger numbers come out of the mouths of women that's actually doing interviews on the internet. I don't know if they think that that's cool, but it's very foolish. It's very foolish. I personally wouldn't want to be with a woman that I know she's been with a big, because I don't want to be, I don't want her comparing me to somebody and I never measure up because she's had everything. I'm not doing what he did or they did or what, you know what I mean? So this is a serious conversation. This is not about joking. This is not about belittling anybody. This is about making women understand, don't give away your prized possession. Don't give away your virtue. Don't allow yourself to be tricked by some of these guys, and don't trick yourself either by thinking that you need to get out and do something that will be belittling you. And I know in my generation, I've been guilty of it, being with somebody that I wasn't married to. When I was much younger, whatnot, I didn't have the wisdom that I do now, but I would want people to have the wisdom that I didn't have then so that they can make wiser choices. So this is not about bashing anybody, but what you want to know. And do you think you would want your son to know? Because things are getting even worse these days. Would you want your son to know what he may be dealing with as they get older? Would you want him to ask those serious questions?
Well, I say it like the scripture said it. Where are the tokens of her virginity? Where are the tokens of her virginity?
You know they ain't doing it these days, right? We're talking about traditional times.
See what I'm saying, though?
And the modern
See what I'm saying, though? That was the major factor before you got with a woman. Where those tokens of virginity at? Because when I'm about to pay for something that somebody already done had access to on multiple occasions.
Oh man, that's not even a good thought when the man actually go to thinking about it. Because what if you?
It's not, I mean, it's humble. It's humble. It's very humble. That's why a lot of women have to realize that, you know, like as men through media and through just being taught wrong, taught by our mothers as well, taught by different forces. That's not for us. We've been taught not to value ourselves, so we accept something that wasn't even the standard of our people. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob weren't accepting nothing less. Where are the tokens of her virginity? So you will absolutely want to know how many bodies. And the truth of the matter is, see, I don't want to say too much because I ain't about to get certain conversations. I'm gonna just leave off this podcast, but you should know. A person should want to know, especially a man. If this woman is not a virgin, that's something you want to know.
I mean, we got to.
Why would you not want to know?
There you go.
Unless you've been programmed to like this private, you know, like that's you've been programmed not to want to know. But a man in his right state of mind, a man with wisdom and knowledge and understanding, you're gonna want to know, even though they're gonna lie anyway.
And so you would definitely want to know because it's going to give you an indication of how your relationship may or may not go. If that body count is up there, you can't necessarily think that you're going to have a good relationship and she's all into you, because at that particular time, you just know, you don't know that she's yours, but you do know that it's your turn, so to speak. I hate to use that terminology. Right. You see what I'm saying? But if you want something that you want to have a good feeling about, you don't necessarily want to have her having pictures of other men in her head. Matter of fact, a selection of other men, let alone one or two others or something, you know. And I don't know if this is a conversation that a lot of young people might even entertain, because
I'm not taught to vow. Why wouldn't they entertain it though? That's the question. Because at the time when you start getting those hormones and those feelings, that's what you want to know. That's when you need the knowledge the most. But like I said, we've been programmed to accept something that wasn't even. Young men have been programmed Young black men have been programmed to accept things that wasn't even a standard. Where did we learn that from? We didn't learn it from, clearly we didn't learn it from our fathers. And if we did, our fathers actually would tell us the exact opposite. Like, nah, you need to, you know what I mean? You want to get you somebody that's not loose. But most young men don't listen. But that's the time we need to know that.
But then let me ask you a question. When that subject come up, why do you think the women that are guilty that get offended?
And I'm laughing because, you know, I've been through situations like, so it's funny because I can just recall times where I've been through this. And, you know, to be perfectly honest with you, if you ask that question and that woman been out there, it's a good thing that you did ask it, because then it will humble the woman, so to speak. Oh yeah. Because then you can see who they really are. That body count is going to show who that woman really is. Women are judged on their sexual discipline. That's the value of a woman in many cases. Physically, that's the value of a woman.
I don't think they really understand that, though. Women don't understand that sexual discipline should be a must. See, everybody should not have access to that woman. Everybody shouldn't have access to her. What makes her special to you if everyone else has access to her?
Yeah. Yes, sir. So, you know, it's a lot of women haven't been taught it either. Like we have as a people haven't been taught our true value. And these are the things that we got to teach in our kids, you know, teaching our children. And those of us see, a lot of people may get mad at us for having this conversation. Mm-hmm. We're protecting the future generation. We pointing things out that's wrong. We pointing out the truth and the facts and the falsehood. So us even having this conversation, it should better the youth. If the youth is tuned in, and I know it is youth tuned into the podcast, so this should help them. So it's not a matter of like we saying these things like, oh, she got a high body count. Oh, we trying to make fun of you. No, I mean, it's really a tragedy. Like that's bad. I mean, you wasn't protected. You didn't learn how to protect yourself and value yourself. That's your fault, and that's the family's fault. Because why wasn't they protecting their daughter?
And see, these are the conversations that eventually a good father is going to have with his daughter, because every father. I'm sorry to cut you off. No, go ahead. But go ahead. We just really it's so imperative, because see, our daughters is most likely going to be. We're going to be the first man that our daughters ever loved. And a lot of times, a guy will swoop in there talking about, I love you, and say all those smooth things that he thinks that she wants to hear so he can do some things that ought not be done. Oh. So we have to have those conversations so that our daughters learn that they're devaluing themselves the more they do that.
Absolutely.
And a lot of times, if a father's not in the picture, those conversations aren't going to be had.
And you said the key word, if the father is not in the picture, because a lot of times the mothers are not going to be the best protectors. That's not their nature. Their nature is, you know, that positive energy. They let the men do the hard job. Let us have the hard conversations. Let us have the hard talks. Because when it comes down to my daughter, oh yeah, no, it's no way. It's no way. I don't even allow my daughter to be outside of her grandparents. She cannot be alone with nobody without my supervision or her mother's supervision.
You know what's so crucial? Yeah. You know what's so crucial? Yeah. We don't really start to consider until we actually have a daughter. You see what I'm saying? Because once we actually have a daughter, and then we reflect on the way men actually are, or males actually are, then we know we have to protect ours. You see, and this to the point to where, you know, as a man, you'll go all out for your daughter when it comes to protecting her. I'm gonna say something right now to let the women know. Since they say we don't protect them, right? All right. So this is something y'all could do. Women, if y'all out there having sex right now, ask that man if he'll marry you. Not next year. I'm talking about right now. That's the way it's they say we don't protect them. This is us protecting them right now. If you're having sex with a man, ask that man if he'll marry you.
Go ahead.
A lot of them gonna get that answer that they, a lot of them that answer ain't gonna be a one that they want to hear. But if a man is not willing to marry you, why lay with her? Or why would you lay with him? Is it because maybe you just want to have a good time and he just want to have a good time and that's what's done? Because that ought not be done. Because when you lay down with someone, there's a possibility you're going to bring another life into this world. And then that's just going to add to the amount of baby mothers that you have. You see what I'm saying? When we think about it, it absolutely makes no good sense at all. Now, we've all been younger and didn't use discretion or good wisdom. But as we get older, when we keep doing the same thing, when a woman keep laying down with different men or even the same men and keep making babies, and this man has not made you his wife, then we have to ask ourselves, what is she allowing him to do and what is she doing? That's not going to be a benefit for her, him, or the child. It's a lose-lose for everybody involved. From her to him to the child, it's a lose-lose situation.
Gotta wake up.
People do anything for, as Moray Dan would say, for a few moments of pleasure.
That's right. That's what Almighty gave us the ability to do. And this, I'm gonna get a little explicit, but the Almighty gave us the power to please ourselves. A lot of times we gotta restrain ourselves because you don't want to make a decision that's going to affect the rest of your life simply because you got horny. That's why I said, okay, since they say we don't protect them, if you sleeping with a man right now, see if he'll marry you. And if he say no, then you know what you got to do. Ain't that a form of protection, Elder?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The best protection is not to get involved, but I think that we're in a society where because we see things done all the time, we take it as being normal and actually never considered that it's actually abnormal behavior for us to be getting involved doing things that we ought not be doing because we're not married to these particular individuals. And we, a lot of times we just lust.
Yeah.
And lust can be, it can be devastating. Lust can put you in a position where you lose your driver's license, can't hold down a job, can't hold on to your own money because that money is going out for child support over here and over there and over there and everything else. We men need to have a sexual discipline as well.
Oh, yeah.
I can honestly say I've been with my wife 18 years, and even though I'd have been mad at her, she'd have been mad at me, I ain't never went out and messed with another woman. I can say that. And the Almighty know I ain't went and laid with another woman since I've been married to my wife.
That's good.
And I can say I ain't been like this in all my life. But as I got older, guess what? I got wiser.
That's right. Yeah.
I got wiser.
Because why mess up a good thing?
Let me ask you something. How long does it take? Okay. How long does it take or should it take in the case of dating for individuals to see if there's any real connection or if there's a higher level of, if you want to take it to that next level, if you want to go to a higher level? Sure. How long should it take? Not dealing with sex or anything. How long do you think that it should actually take for a man and a woman to decide if there's some interest there to where they want to keep it going to see where it might go, to see if it's worth that time?
How old are the individuals?
But let's say they're of age.
Okay.
I don't want to put an age on, but they're of age. And let's say keeping sex out of the equation. Yeah. How long do you think? I'm thinking within about maybe 2 or 3 months, because at that time, within 2 or 3 months, surely there had to be a slip up of something that gave you an indication that this person ain't who they actually say they are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if everything is going smooth for 2 or 3 months and everything is consistent and you actually enjoy one another with laughter and the whole 9 yards and the chemistry because you can feel a person's energy. So my question is, how long do you think that it should take before a person know if they want to pursue that individual in a relationship? Because if they don't want to pursue it, then they should cut it loose.
Yeah. Yes, sir. I think 90 days.
My mic wasn't even on.
You want to ask the question again?
Yeah. Let me ask that one more time. My mic wasn't on, y'all, so my apologies here. If you heard it once, don't might just hear it again. My question just was, how long should it take, or does it take, in the course of dating, if a man and a woman are dating, to find out if they want to take this to a higher level? Now, this is not going to be involving sex. So I'm saying that within a matter of 2 to 3 months, a person should be able to tell if this person's energy is in and out, if that energy is consistent, if they're actually enjoying one another's company, to find out or to figure out if they, in fact, they want to take this to the next level, or if they want to keep pursuing that relationship. Again, I'm saying taking sex out of the equation. And you were going to answer the question asked about how long you believe that it should actually take.
Yeah, it should. If you take the right steps, 90 days is an adequate amount of time. Within 3 months, like you said, you should have been able to see at least a few. The relationship should have gone through a couple refinements. You should have been able to see a few things. Sometimes it may take a year, depending on how you moving. You know what I'm saying? How often you seeing this person and how serious you are. But if you're serious and you're trying to get married, you're trying to find that right one. If you take the right steps, such as getting to know her family, gotta get to know where she comes from. You know what I'm saying? That's really the key part to it. Asking the hard questions, taking that time to really get to know her, going places, different places, seeing each other in different elements and things of that nature. You should be able to figure it out pretty quickly, depending on your level of wisdom. Sometimes it can be even faster, depending on your level of wisdom, though. You know what I'm saying? So. Things I'm gonna tell you, to be honest with you, the reason why I say it can be even faster, because a lot of people mess up things before it even start. A lot of people don't even make it past the first cut. You know what I mean? So a lot of times, I know we all done got approached and been approached before. You know what I'm saying? My first thing, if I ever came across a situation like that, it's flattering, it's cool, it's nice. But if a person ain't on my level, why waste my time? And I mean spiritually on my level. Like, I know what the things I want. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if a person, I'm going to just be real. If a person don't know the Most High, it's kind of a wrap. And that's in my world. Now, for the next person world, it may be different.
Well, I agree with you. That's in my world as well. I would not want to get involved with anybody and then just start trying to go through the process of teaching them who the Most High is, because there's no foundation there. There's no commitment there. Therefore, they're not going to be as serious about the relationship as you may possibly be. So, talking about relationships, I got another question here, and I have to ask this question because me personally, this is not my situation, but I'm just a very untrusting person in today's time, knowing the way that people are. When it comes to what people might refer to as long distance relationships, say like if you had a male and a female, but they're located in 2 different cities of that particular state, or maybe they're located in 2 totally different states, but they call themselves being in a relationship with one another. Me not being a trusting person like that, because I know while somebody's over here, they can be doing anything and tell me something completely different. But by me knowing that people are just, for the most part, full of crap. How do you feel about long distance relationships? Do you think that's a benefit to people? Like, if you got a person living in this state and one in this state, or one living in Cleveland and the other person living in Cincinnati, but they call themselves being a couple, but this one live here and that one live there, and maybe every now and again one person make it to the other person, or that person in turn makes it back to the other person, and they deal with it like that. Me personally, I'm believing that it's going to be very rare. It's just my thought that person is just keeping it real with the other person, that there's nothing else going on. Because I know people, if somebody have access to somebody that's close to them, they might have an itch to scratch or something. And so, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, long distance never really worked for me. Like I say, people come into your life for different reasons and purposes. You as a man got to know that. You know, sometimes the Almighty may send a woman to you because that's just what you need at that moment. That don't necessarily mean you have to be in a relationship like that. Y'all could just be friends. And a lot of times in long distance relationships, it's just a band-aid to loneliness. You know, if you can't really be around that person physically, how long is it going to last? Long distance relationships tend not to last, you know, a very long time because eventually y'all need that physical interaction. So you got to have a lot of discipline, really. Both parties got to have a lot of discipline for that.
So say that, and I know this is going to be a rarity. This will be a rarity, but say that there's a long distance relationship, and say she says she's not being intimate, and he say that he's not being intimate. But in today's time, can we trust that both parties are telling the truth and they're not being intimate? I think that'd be a rarity.
Yeah, it's a rare.
And so,
Probably, yeah, especially if they mature and they older, you know, they doing stuff. You know what I'm saying?
that's
why you gotta. It's. I wouldn't recommend long distance relationships. Honestly, what you ever been in a situation like that?
No, and I would never have ever been in even when I was younger, because that would be me being foolish, thinking of someone. Even when I was much younger and didn't know the Most High, when I was, say, like a teen and getting involved in, because like I said, the first time I got married, I was 18 years old. Hell, I didn't know nothing about no marriage, so that was doomed to fail. You see what I'm saying? I didn't have the role models and the leadership to teach me certain things, nor did the woman that I had married. She didn't have those that wherewithal. She didn't know certain things. So that was pretty much an experiment. I didn't call it an experiment at that time, but when you're young and you want to do the right thing, you know. Like I say, I used to be accused of being, wanting to be Mr. Goody Two Shoes. I don't know if you understand that expression. That's an old expression there. You ever heard that, Goody Two Shoes?
Trying to do the right thing. Yeah. Stand out the way.
Yeah, but it don't turn out that way in most cases. I got another question here, and I want us to think about this, and I want those that are on by way of the internet to chime in on this here. This is a deep question, and we can twist it so that it fits both sides. So I'm gonna rephrase it. Do a modern woman, a woman with a modern mindset, do she deserve a traditional man? Now let's flip that. Should a man who has a modern mindset, should he want a traditional woman? Because you might have a lot of men who have a modern mindset themselves, but they know a traditional woman the way a traditional woman in her trueness would operate. Like a lot of times when they prepare the food, they bring it to the man first. He get his plate first and all those other things. And she's cooking and taking care of a lot of things. But this man with the modern mindset might not necessarily be the best man for that particular woman, because the characteristics of his behavior wouldn't be as such, you see. So that's a question that I got for you and those that's out on the internet audience right there. Do a woman that has a modern day mindset, do she actually deserve, and I know that's a harsh word, it could be looked upon that way, do she deserve a traditional man, knowing that traditional man is going to provide certain things? And it's not probably going to be reciprocated because of her mindset. Because a woman would have to be of a traditional mindset in order to fall in line with those things willfully. So that's a deep question. Give me some feedback on that.
I mean, I would just say no, flat out, on both sides. I don't think a modern woman deserves a traditional man, and I don't think a modern man deserves a traditional woman.
Elaborate, because the people need to really understand anything. Because, and I say this, I want you to elaborate, because a lot of women today want that traditional man because that traditional man is a provider. And so even when I see these modern shows like the Buster Balloon shows and all that stuff to be on the internet, you know, the number one question that keeps coming up in every single scenario on a lot of different shows is they say they want a provider. I want a provider, but they're not talking about marriage. Nowadays, boyfriend, girlfriend relationships, the females are requiring that you be a provider. In other words, you're supporting her lifestyle in order for her to be your girlfriend. So it's like a trade-off. It's really all about money because she'll be willing to be with anybody for the most part who's going to sponsor her life. Because that's what it comes down to, it, ladies, when we look at it for what it really is. So it's almost like pimping yourself out.
Yeah. It's like one party is coming in kind of selfish, you know what I'm saying, and the other person is more so of a team player. That's how I look at traditional mindsets are more like it's more about us, it's more about the family, it's more about the team. The modern mindset is like you said, it's more so about what can I get out the situation, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna be fully loyal to the situation. I'm only loyal to me. That's the modern mindset. So I don't. You know, I wouldn't. That's like asking, will I give my daughter away to a modern man? Not at all.
See, that's the mindset of the day. That is, in fact, the mindset of relationships today. It's like quid pro quo. In other words, I do this for you if you do that for me. In other words, I'll be your girlfriend if you do this, that, and the other for me. You're spending your money. I'm not willing to cook for you. I'm not willing to do that because they'll say, I'm not your mother. I'm not cleaning for you. So every now and again, she gonna give a little bit of the box, so to speak. But why would man have to go through all his resources to do that? That makes no sense to me. So see, the trade-offs in today's relationship, there's no balance there. There's no equity there. There's no true love. There's no true commitment. There's no true loyalty in a lot of these relationships. I'm not saying all, y'all, but in a lot of these relationships, it's all transactional. And what that just pretty much means, somebody being pimped out or somebody just being a 304 or whatever the case is, because it's like, I'm going to do this for you if you're providing this here for me. That's not, man, relationships today is just so watered down.
Yeah, people should be following their role regardless. You know what I mean? If you commit yourself to something, everybody should be following their role and their responsibilities regardless. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, yeah.
Man, this is deep. This is deep. Hey, you guys got anything y'all want us to respond to out there? Anything at all y'all want us to respond to in dealing with relationships?
Like we about at that time too.
We're about coming to a close on here. I hope we provided some information that can be appreciated. If so, please give us a like. Please share this communication. And we definitely appreciate everybody that's actually chiming in. Wow. Like I said, if you guys have
questions of that.
anything,
Very good questions. Like, very different scenarios and things to ponder on. This was a very good one. When y'all look back at this video, ask yourself some same questions. You know, we don't consider things until we approach with them. A lot of times.
And guys, ask yourself, what advice would you give to your daughter about dealing with men? What advice would you give to your young daughters? To see, we got to get to our daughters when they're really young to instill certain things within them so that they know that their most precious asset, they don't just give away. It should be reserved for that special person who's committed to them. Mm. So that being said, we appreciate you guys for tuning in.
Yes,
it's always a pleasure. And until next time.
All right. Shalom.